First up. Good afternoon, everybody. Whoa, good afternoon, everybody. Who loves social media? Raise your hands up in the room if you love social media. Who's on social media? Only one person in here on social media?
Not to me.
Some people aren't going to answer and some people are. Okay, so my name is Sharon Calix. I'm the UK's #1 social media expert. I'm an award-winning social media expert. And my areas of expertise are LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. I'm also a Google trainer, so I train on Google for Google around the UK. And today I want to do two things. First of all, I want to honour Harbeen and Vinny for this amazing WEF conference and inviting me here to speak today, and my daughter. So I'm very honoured and privileged to be here. This is the second conference, and also I'm going to be holding the WEF UK conference. I'll be directing that. So please do speak to me if you would like to be part of the UK WEF conference and speak at the London one in November. Yeah. So, who uses their business to grow social media? Who hates spending money on ads? Right? Okay, how would you like to know if I could show you proven ways on how to spend how not to spend any money on ads using social media? Would you like to know that? I have an organic following of 215,000 followers just between Facebook and Twitter without a penny on ads.
Wow.
Okay, so basically I commentate for Sky News. I have my clients range from the everyday entrepreneur to Air France to the police to the Mayor of London to so-and-so, and I show people how to gain an online reputation. Now with social media, we want to gain an online hype. We want to know what our competitors are doing. So today I'm going to give you 5 simple tips that you can follow so that you can take this with your business and implement today. Sound good?
Yes. Yes.
I've just landed, so after 10 hour flight. So, the first thing I want to say to you is you need to make some noise on social media. You need to know what your competitors are doing. When your competitors are doing what you should be doing, you need to be basically following what they're doing. How can you do that? You need to listen to what they're doing. Use social media tools. And there are so many out there that are free. Let's find out there what's trending. Who knows how to find out what's trending on social media? Anybody? That's one way, but there are several platforms that you can use to find out what's trending. Let me give you a couple of platforms to use. First of all, go to Google+, Google Hot. Google Hot. So what I'm saying is that's a platform that you can go to see what's trending. Whatstrending.com is another one. Okay? Who checks their name on Google? Yeah? Who goes to Google and types in their name? Set up Google alerts. See how many times people are checking you out. Yeah? So every time you get an alert, find out what's going on. Why these people are checking you out? And get an alert for it. It's really important to know what your competitors are doing. So blog. Blog about this. It doesn't cost, there are so many platforms to blog on. eZines Articles is another one. eZines Articles, 100,000 bloggers on there. 100,000 bloggers. E, and then Zines, Z-I-N-E-Z. Go and see what your competitors are blogging on. I'm a platinum blogger on there. You could be a diamond blogger, but you have to be blogging regularly. And you don't have to be blogging 500-600 words a day. Your blog could be one sentence and a video. Today we just heard about video. Video content converts a lot better. Video yourself doing a video and convert it with your message. We now know that LinkedIn allows us to do like the Facebook Lives version. Who's tried that yet? The tool's out there for you. It's not a pre-recorded version, it's a live. So you're talking one-to-many. We're not only talking personal, but we're talking B2C and B2G. Can you imagine the reach that you're getting? We're struggling with tools. Go to LinkedIn Development, free LinkedIn Helper. Thousands and thousands of free tools on how to learn social media. How to do this, how to upload this, how to share this. LinkedIn Helper is free. What is your biggest social media frustration? What to post? Is that what your frustration is?
Yes.
There are platforms out there for free. You know what? You say yes. What is it that you do? What is it you do?
I run a travel company.
You run a travel company. So if you are frustrated and you think, what can I post today? And it's a season. So say for example, it's summer and the kids are on holiday, so you post what's trending in the summertime. You might promote Easter breaks, you might promote school holidays, whatever, but keep your posts really short.
Okay.
You know, keep them minimum 6 words. You don't have to put chunks of text, because you know something, it's like, whoa. How many of you will see a post and think, I'm not reading that? You're on social media. It's way too much. But you can say all of it in a minute video and it will convert. How many times have you been online and you shared something and it's just gone straight? We heard about hashtags. If you type in a hashtag in your search bar on any social media platform, be it Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever it is, you'll find out what conversation's trending and being crowded. Who in here owns their own hashtag? I bet you nobody. Nobody owns. How many people here hashtags?
Yeah, hashtag.
You don't own your own hashtag? Who in here has their own business?
Professional.
Hang on. Okay. So you create them, but you don't own them. So what's your business?
I'm an author.
What's your name as an author?
Brandy L. Benson.
So you don't own your hashtag. Let me tell you what I do. So my name is Sharon Hayes, and my hashtag was making money using social media. And there's me telling hundreds and thousands of people, go and own your hashtag. And I never went and owned my own. So some jammy person went and registered my hashtag. So what I did, my hashtag then had to be the acronyms of so it became MMUSM. If you want to tweet, it's MMUSM, okay? You would make yours your name, or your name back to front, and then your book. It could be author, it could be publisher, it could be the hashtag, and so on. You can own up to 50 hashtags. There's a website called Twubs. Twubs, Twbus. You should be paying me loads of money to hear this information. I'm not saying it again. If you didn't hear it the first time, it's too bad. Right? You go and register on there, and it's free. Who would like to hear more?
Of course.
Who wants to hear these guys? Who wants to hear some more from me? I'm only kidding. So there is so much more you can do. Now, you know what happens? You see Oprah Winfrey, when she starts a debate and she starts talking about something, say she's talking about, I don't know, domestic violence, for example. I go and get that hashtag and I own it. So all the conversation, it's just a really random example. She might be talking about really, and I own it. So all that conversation comes back, that traffic comes back to me. You can own up to 50 hashtags per email. It's mine.
How does it work?
You don't pay anything. It's free. So I'm really sorry, guys, but you know what's going to happen now? These guys are going to be doing owning their hashtags through your session. I bet you someone's logged onto there already, have they? The last thing that I want to share with you is stand out from the crowd. Really be you. Be your brand, be your voice. So when we see WEF online, who's the first person that comes to your mind?
Dr. Harbina.
She's the brand. She's created that hype that we know that this is the brand behind, the face behind the brand. She doesn't even have to be on the website. We know this is her brand. Are you doing that with your business? Are you? Can you? You can do it. So if someone says to you, you know, Dr. Harbina, you know that's the association. Or do you know somebody that can tell you how to gain an online presence without spending any money? Or do you know social media? Or do you know somebody that does that? Yeah, that lady that's called Sharon something from the UK. Yeah. Go and Google me, first page of Google. I don't want to have to hand out business cards because I want to be able to say to you, go to Google and go and see what Google says about me. Because I can tell you how wonderful I am all day long. And I really could. But it's what the online reputation says about me that counts and stands out more. So I do want you to go onto Google and go and see how many pages I take up and what work I have done and how that validates what I do and what I say. Because when you go to Google to buy a car or to go and invest in a very expensive product, you go and do the research online before you spend your money, right? So you should be able to do that with your brand. Sound good?
Yeah, good.
That's my conversation done for today. Thank you very much. What I want to ask you today is just one thing. If you would like me to give you a free report on your social media, on how your Facebook page is performing, I will give you a business card. Raise your hand if you want a business card. Oh, really? This card, does anyone want business cards? Okay, so we'll quickly whip them out because I don't want to take any of these guys this time. Jim, have that really quickly. And I will send you a free report on how well your page is performing, what you should be doing. These are Facebook recommendations, not mine. Okay? And I'll also say to you this. Facebook is always changing. The news feeds in Facebook are going to disappear. What are you going to do then? You know, the tools you can do so much.
That's a sign.
To nail the Facebook. Thank you so much.
I have a question. What was the first two that you said about trending like hashtags or yeah.
The first one. Yeah. So see the intriguing. Let's say there is a tagline which belongs to someone. It's copyrighted already. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if there is already a tagline that has been copyrighted by a person ABC, and somebody listens to that person talk on that particular aspect or whatever, and then says, okay, I'm going in owning a hashtag, but that property is pretty much already copyrighted, then how does it work?
When you're on social media, you are allowed to socially share. So you are putting your content out there for people to share it. Now on Facebook in particular, there is in your settings a button that you can tick to stop people from doing that. Now if you haven't done that, then that's allowing people. It's in the settings. So if you don't let people do that, then people can even clone your business page. I can show you. I can show you where it is. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so it's something that you can do. And you can also stop people from downloading your page and merging pages and all sorts of things. very much. You've been legendary. Did you all get my business cards?
Yes.
Good.
Let me just pull my pants up. Hello, soul sisters.
Hello.
Give me a bit of energy. I need a bit of energy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hello, soul sisters. All right. Okay. So what I just demonstrate with you is, how do you feel after the AA? How do you feel?
Good.
Nice,
Enlightened.
energetic. What else? Pumped up. Yeah. So yeah. So happy. Did you say happy? Yeah. So all those words are representing positive feelings, right? So today, first of all, before I continue my story, I just want to thank you, Women Economic Forum, for putting together this event, because believe it or not, early this year when I was doing my strategy, 12 months planning, I said to myself, because I run my own events in Perth, but then I said to myself, I would love to be a part of a women empowerment event. I don't really want to run it because I know, like how much work it takes to run events, because I'm already doing, my own events once a year. So I said, I would love to be part of a women empowerment event. I don't really want to run it, I just want to speak, I just want to collab. Believe it or not, 3 weeks later, I got invited to the West Perth one. And then I have Carol to thank, because by me applying for the West Perth, and then she invited me to come to India. And this is just so special, because you know why? Because all the time I'm building my business, sometimes I'm patient, most of the time I'm a bit frustrated, because I'm a Leo, I want things to go fast, But I've always said to myself, other people are building houses. I'm building Taj Mahal. I don't know why I use Taj Mahal as an example, but I couldn't believe I'm in the country of Taj Mahal now. So yeah, so there were just a lot of things that happened between me and this event, which is like, I truly believe I was brought here. So thank you, universe, thank you, everyone. Come together, and I just feel so privileged, because I wasn't excited because I'm speaking. I'm just excited because I'm going to be in an event with heart-centered people, which is so fantastic. All right, so my name is Norita, obviously, as you can read, and I'm the founder of Strive and Thrive, which is a social platform that I started by accident. And yeah, so it's a social platform where we inspire and empower people to go through their challenges so they could thrive into a positive, resilient life. And there is a story about how it all got started, so be patient while I tell you the story. However, at the end of this talk, I can only tell you my story about how I built my social media. And then at the end of this talk, I'm going to give you some key takeaways. I'm aiming for 5, depending on the time. So, do you want 5 key takeaways about not just to how to make impact, but how to make a positive impact, not just to your country or your community, but to the world, okay? And so this is the story of my journey. So, I was a casino chief manager. I left my flamboyant career because I feel like I wasn't serving my purpose. And I set up an event business, and while I was building that business, I received a news that my friend had committed suicide. I was devastated, but however, I was more gutted because her departure has brought back some of my own dark memories. In 2006, Friday the 13th, I was actually on stage in New Zealand Casino. Long story cut short, I fell off the stage and hit my head on the ground. And then another table knocked on my left, so I had what they call a brain injury. So again, long story cut short, I was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. So from the first female Asian casino chief manager, I became someone who couldn't even string sentences together, who having lots of issues and problems and all that leads to depression and anxiety. So I don't really want to tell you the whole brain injury story because it's quite long, but I want to talk to you about how it all turned around. And I was so grateful that I managed to overcome my demons. And I rebuilt my life, including going through New Zealand earthquake, moving to Australia with a few pieces of clothing. But I have always managed to come back up, and I believe that's the power of resilience. So when I lost my friend, I said to myself, I saved me. I knew she had depression. Why didn't I save her? But then I couldn't do anything because she was gone. But then I became obsessed with suicide issue, with depression, anxiety. I want to know like what's going on, you know. So I went onto online and I was shocked, according to World Health Organization, that in 2020, mental health issues will be the #1 epidemic in the world. And that was when I said to myself, oh my God, I can't save her, but I'm going to do something because I'm going to help those people that are still around, that are facing what I was facing, you know, many years ago. So what I did was I put together an event, and the 4 weeks, couldn't even, you know, don't even sure whether I could sell 50 tickets, but we sold out 3 times to 135 tickets. And that was, the event was the first time I speak about my story. And then I was so shocked that people come and connected to me and said, oh my God, your story gives me hope. And that was when I got so excited that, oh my God, all these stories that I have hid for 10 years, and now people claim that it gave them hope. So I said to myself, I gotta spread my story and I gotta talk to more people. But how can I do this? And then I have someone who is like an online guru to thank for, and she said to me, you gotta go online. And that was when I started to play with social media. Maybe like most of you, you know, I did not know everything in social media. And all I did was, I just want to share my story. So I was a bit frustrated because after a few months, right, I was only like, you know, 300 likes. And there was not much engagement, commenting and liking and all that. And I started asking myself, I've been posting every single day. And this takes a lot of time. Is this even doing something? Is this even doing anything? And then I said to the higher power, I say, can you just tell me if this is really, you know, should I be doing this or am I wasting time? Guess what happened? I asked. The next few days, I received an email from a guy. And he said he's got a brain injury and he was struggling mentally. And the night before, he emailed me. He said, last night was supposed to be the night that I'm going to call it quits. I went onto Facebook to say goodbye. I wasn't even following your page, but somehow I came across your post on Facebook. So I just thought I'd email you and let you know that last night, your post on your Facebook saved a life. And then, a few days later on, I've got another email, you know, similar story, and then I've got messages over Instagram and all that, and then that was when, my dear friends, I found this soul calling, and I'm like, oh my God, if I'm a brain injury, with a fat brain injury, I'm still living with chronic pain. Sometimes I'm in bed like 3, 4, 5 days. If I could be in bed and just play on my phone every day, 45 minutes, 1 hour, create content and post, if that could lift people up, if that could make people feel, you know, that there is hope to transform their life, then I'm going to do that. But then what happened then, I become more brave. I become to be more open with my own struggles. And yeah, you know, like I don't really know about hashtags much at that time and all that, but all I did was I was just communicating. Less than a year, bang, it went over 10,000. And then I started investing. You might be asking, all right, so great, you know, how does this, you know, work for the business? The first 18 months, if you go to my website, right, there's no services. I wasn't selling anything. I don't even know what I was doing again, because Thrive and Thrive started by accident. I didn't even know, like, where's the direction or what am I doing, because that is just really something new to me. The only clarity I had was I wanted to share my story. But as I share more, as I become more authentic and more real, and being me, I had a business mentor at the time, and she said to me, Nori, you're too colorful. You shouldn't talk like the way you talk, you know, because of your accent, and you shouldn't wear what you wear, you know, you should be like this and you should wear like that. But then I want to feel in my own skin, so when I show up on my Facebook Live, trust me, I sometimes ramble, I sometimes, you know, like, you know, went way too long, but still, people are connecting. So, back to what I was going to say earlier on. Suddenly, I started having people from Eastern State, Sydney, say to me, how much does it cost to work with you? And I said, work with me, what do you mean? And then he said, how much do you charge? I said, charge for, and he said, for coaching. And he said, for coaching. And then I said, no, I'm not a coach. And then he said, well, you should start coaching. And I'm like, oh, I don't really know if I could do that. I thought I wasn't good enough. Because you know why I thought I wasn't good enough? Because I attended a seminar where I told my story, and someone said to me, who do you think you are? That you want to go on social media and tell the world about how you overcome your demons and all that.
That's their stuff.
Yeah. Are you certified? Do you have degree in psychology? Guess what I said? Yes, I do not have a degree in psychology, but I do have a degree, and I graduated from Life University. Yes. I have overcome child abuse, I overcome brain injury, I overcome the loss of my loved ones. My fiance died 3 months away before my wedding. I went through earthquake. I, with a brain injury, graduated with distinction in Australian University. I started my business and all that. If you think I'm not good enough just because I'm not with a degree, you tell me who can overcome what I overcome, right? And they are a better person to talk on social media about what they do. So yeah, so why I'm telling you this, because sometimes you need to be bold in doing what you do, right? So I had the guys start telling me, to start coaching and all that. So that's what I did. So again, long story cut short, I started to win awards by the time because of what I was doing online. And then, locally in Australia. And then I started to have podcast interviews, magazine interviews, TV interviews, and all were coming to me, all these doors of opportunities was coming to me. I couldn't believe it that I said to myself, by the third year of my business, I want to do it. I want to speak at a corporate event. And guess what? Second year, Uber and a mining company said, we want you to speak, how much do you charge? And I just couldn't believe it. So my audience tell me what they want. They said to me, do webinar. I said, okay. And then I said, oh, the webinar replay is finished. And then they said, oh, can you let me have it? Just tell me how much and I'll pay. And then they said to me, can you do an online course, about your story, about the strategies that have helped you and all that? And then I'm like, okay. So now I'm launching my online course. It's not even fully completed yet. I already have buyers. They're waiting to pay me since February. And then I've had businesses come to me and say, we really like how you build your business under 12 months. So we want you to teach us how you do it. So yeah, it all started because I wanted to make a difference. It all started because I had a calling. And now it has turned into a business. And like Sharon said, you gotta know your hashtag or your, and to be honest, I just put Strive and Thrive because the first event was called Strive and Thrive. And I made a mistake because then I found out that Strive and Thrive, I couldn't register business because someone in the US already have the name, yeah. But in Australia, I'm still safe. But now I'm going online, so I have to actually rebrand. And someone said to me, again, I love how you talk about branding, because someone said to me, you don't need the name Strive and Thrive.
Use your own name.
Yeah, and then these people say, because the first year people talk about Strive and Thrive. After second year, people actually talk, oh, is that girl with a brain injury? And then going into the third year, people say Norita Omar. So now I'm actually going into rebranding to change to Norita Omar. So that was my story, and now I'm going to give you the key takeaways. Excited? Yeah, all right. Okay, so there are a lot of strategies and tips and all that, but I can only tell you how I did it. The first one is you have to know your why. I'm pretty sure you already heard Simon Sinek said this. Very, very important. You got to know your why, and guess what? Your why has to be big. Your why cannot just be about you. Your why cannot be just about how great your services, your products, you want to sell on social media. Again, by the way, social media is not a place for selling. Okay? It's a place to create connection. So the first one, know your why. Because you know why? When you know your why, if your why is big, your why will drive you to make the decisions that you need to make. And it will give you the clarity, whatever that tough decision or tough times you're going through after that. And your why will also help you to think about what content to create. If you do not know your why, if your why is not big, you'll struggle with content. But if you know your why, you know why you're here, and you know why you're doing on social media, you want to know why you're in business, you want to know why you're on social media, then that why can help you to create content. So the second one is you got to know your audience. This is the best, because when I first started, I'm like, mental health. Everyone is stressed. Everyone is depressed at some point. Everyone has anxiety at some point. But guess what? I cannot market to everyone. Because in social media, the language that you talk to a millennial is different than the language you talk to someone who is like, in the 50s or 60s. So you gotta really know who your audience is. And when you know your audience, you need to know, this is the third one, you need to know what are they struggling with. Stress is stress, like in my story. But stress what? You gotta really narrow down, you gotta be specific. Because when you know their struggles, when you know their pain point, then you can come up with the strategies, to create the content, to inspire them, and then they start to follow you. So the fourth one, I love this, because when I first started, right, I attended, marketing courses and all that. The traditional marketers like to use the fear factor. If you do not do this, you will not be successful, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that because I find it very dark. So what I do is that, the fourth one, you have to know what inspires your audience. So for example, like Strive and Thrive. Deep down, right? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, no, finish? Oh, okay, sorry. So know what inspires them, and then the fifth one, you gotta know your story, be brave to share your story, and connect your story to their story because you're gonna build connection, and then that connection is gonna build trust. When that thing happens, in marketing we call it the hunter becomes the hunter. That's when they will come to you and say, how can we work with you? Okay, all right, so thank you very much. If you have any questions,
Good afternoon, how are you? I will now have a presentation in both English and Spanish because we have our Latin America delegation here. Entonces me voy a hacer la presentación en español porque acá también se habla español. Okay? So, well, my name is Joanna. I'm a consultant in communication, not only social media, but it's personal brand and communication. Communication. So why I'm here? Because I'm a case, a woman that uses social media and technology to inspire other women in technology, mostly. So you can also share the presentation and get my website here there. Okay, so let's start. This is, I think Norita just introduced a very important issue on my stage today, which is purpose. Who of you have found so far your purpose in life? Raise your hand. ¿Quién de ustedes ya encontró su propósito de vida? So many of us, right? But it's not like the general of the people, right? People don't know exactly why they come here, why they do what they do. And that's why I am linked Norita's presentation with that, because what I found 10 years ago was my purpose. There was a moment in my life in which I just knew what was inside me that, like, shine my eyes, like, I was pretty happy to do what I was doing. That was helping other women, to empower themselves and start giving their best to other women. I was a teacher, I'm still a teacher now, but I knew that maybe teaching was not only happening on the classroom, but it was all around the world. And of course, to reach the world, we have to go global through internet, online, right? So through my purpose of life, I discovered that my story, and this is the second issue. So find a purpose, then tell your own story, because telling our story can inspire others to act. Yes. So purpose inspire actions too. Okay. So I'm 40 years old now, but I look like I'm 50, a teenager. But what is important there is that I got my 2 children very young. So when I was 18, I got my baby girl was born. She's now 21. And my baby boy, who's now 18 years old. Both of them are studying at the university. I was a single mother in Colombia. Do you know where Colombia is? Yes. First, if not, if any of you just in case don't know, is this beautiful point here. Okay? So, yes, it hasn't been that easy, because it's not easy to be a mother when you're a teenager. And I was the youngest of a military house. So my father was military. And I was the youngest. Yes, it was a difficult scenario there, but it wasn't like an obstacle for me. It was maybe my motivation to push forward and go through my trends. So that's why it's important to tell your story. Everybody has a story to tell. We are story makers. So find a purpose and start telling your story. And if you want to do it, I mean to maybe reach more people, you use technology. That's why the network, the internet is there for us to help us, like to spread a message and to help others that maybe are just in need of some lovely words to maybe save life. And when you were talking, I remember a case in which one of my friends suffering from cancer was on his last days, right? But he's still alive, fortunately. But he told me that day when the priest went there to, like, I don't know how to say it in English,
Last rites. Last rites,
right. He asked for a phone because he was connected to tubes and cables and all that. And he asked for his phone. And one of the first pictures he showed there was one of my sunsets. I used to post sunsets because I have a beautiful view of the city from my apartment in Bogota, the capital of Colombia. And then he told me, like 6 months later what happened, because I haven't seen him before that. Then he told me, Joanna, you know what? That when I saw that sunset, that day, that gave me life back. So I could continue struggling, because there was a beautiful sunset behind those walls and cables. So that was very important to me, because sometimes you consider that what you are doing, maybe posting some words, maybe posting an image, maybe just giving a message, you never know who's there listening to you, reading. I started blogging. So my website now was a blog before. So I just started telling my story. But just because I wanted to do it, because it was like a therapy, sometimes writing is therapeutic, right? So I started writing, telling my story, what I was feeling, just taking all the message out, and people just started writing back. Hey, I love your post, I love your article on your blog, I love what you're doing, and this is start growing your community. Then you realize that you have people who are following you, so you must be the next step. Be responsible, so care about your content. then you can maybe look for the correct media to reach them, to start studying the audience, of course. And I mean, all like the technical issue is important, but first, what we have to do is to work on our authentic story to tell. Yes, like find your purpose, tell your story, be very authentic. That's why now I'm working with the personal brand issue. I love your talk because it's very related to what I'm doing so far, which is helping people create a personal brand, but with purpose, from their purpose. Yes, that's the best way to be authentic. Because then we can see influencers, you know influencers? These young people that are trying like to do whatever they want, no? Trying to like, I want to be famous, and they do stupid things sometimes, no? Just because they want to be famous, yes? But that is not going to be in the time because it's not authentic, it's not from the, you know, from the soul. So the best way I found, I mean, this is not a formula, but the best way I found that I can start serving the world and give it my best was through my purpose. And of course, social media was meant to reach more people. But I keep working on me the whole day, every day. So the most important human being on earth must be always you. First you. There's a saying, put your mask first. I don't know if you have heard that. Maybe on the planes, when they say that the mask goes down, yeah? You put your mask first. What does it mean? You cannot help others if you don't help yourself first, right? So you have to care about you, start working on your inner, whatever you feel here inside it is, you must work on you every day. I mean, I don't believe that much and you have to always think outside. No. If you work on you, you're like a light, I think it's Faro lighthouse now. What is a lighthouse? Lighthouse is always like, no? Having its own light and with its light, helping others to get to the point they're looking. But you have to work on you first. If you keep working on you, the other will be just like a magnet. That is. Yes, it's important to know audience, what they think and all of that, but it's more important to start working on you. It's important to know which network could work better. For example, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not that good at Instagram because I'm not a millennial. I'm of the other generations. I like it more, for example, Twitter, but no, I don't like it that much. I used to love Facebook, so now I don't love Facebook because those social networks, they are evolving too. They change too. What really matters is the interaction among people there, human to human. This era is telling us human to human interaction. That's what really matters. In the fourth industrial revolution, yes, there are robots, yes, there are data, yes, there are artificial intelligence, but humans are more important now than ever before. So if you care about you and care about the other, then you can have this human interaction that is needed today more than ever, right? And if we are connected from the purpose of each other, the rest, I'm talking about technology, no matter what media are you using, you're really generating value to others, and that's what really matters, right? Because I don't care if it is just 1 follower, 2 followers, 3 followers. I have a lot of followers, actually. But I never look at my numbers, never. I look at the relationships I have done so far, how much I have helped others to maybe, you know, like, because I, of course, inspire through my classes, when I have a video, when I write an article, or just when I just simply give a talk, or when I just listen. Because sometimes listening to somebody is more important for that person than I give an advice, for example. And who I am, who we are to tell others what to do, right? So, I don't know if presentation is there. I was going to show the last slide just to finish this. So, I'm going to recap a little bit. So, find a purpose, start with a why. There is a book from Simon Sinek. Maybe you have read it, you know it, which is Start with a Why. Yes. There are many tools today to find purpose. There is the Ikigai, which is a Japanese method to find what you love, then try to think what is needed there out in the world, because if we are coherent with the needs of the world, you know, the global development goals can be maybe an issue to consider if you're looking for, okay, what is needed out there that I can help with. And there are other, and it's UK, is Ken Robinson. Ken Robinson wrote a book, an excellent book, The Element. And The Element is one of the best books I have read so far. Because Ken Robinson, so I'm going to close with this. So Ken Robinson, for example, shows how this Matt Groening, you know Matt Groening, Simpsons, the creator of Simpsons, how Matt Groening, for example, found he like it or he like it. So it's the opportunity, is what you like with the moment. So 3 elements in which the purpose, like, you know, shows to life. So this is what I wanted to say. Maybe there was a slide to show. So don't forget human to human. That's very important. In this is important. And generate value to customers and your community, and they will love you. That's real engagement for social media. If you generate value to others, that's what really matters in this moment. Of course, technology is important, but what is more important is humans. Don't forget. Thanks a lot.
I saw it. That's her birthday.
I was there.
I just came up with 10 hour time and I got this to be. That's what I did.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Ashwini. Thank you for waiting on. I think the 3 women who spoke before me, I think touched upon some really beautiful things. I feel like I should stop doing, social media for clients and just go find my calling, because that is something I'm not focused on, to be honest. Right, so I've been in the industry for about 8 years now, and my whole life has been around media and communications and social media and things like that. And I've really never given it, the thought of empowering the community and doing something that is really engaging. I think that's what they all spoke about, especially their personal stories coming out. So my presentation is a little different. I'm giving you a disclaimer now itself. It is a bit more technical, and so just a quick introduction. Why me? So if I can just continue. I'm so sorry. I think otherwise I'm distracted.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
No problem. So this is also my first public, speaking session, I guess. Yeah, I'm a little nervous as well, I suppose. So anyway, so I'm going to run through this very quickly. I don't want to hold up the next session as well. So why me? I work at an agency called Hive Minds. We're based in Bangalore, and we are helmed by a female CEO. Her name is Jyotirmayi, and she's also on some of the other sessions. She spoke earlier today. We grew as a very, very small startup 8 years ago, and with just about 6 to 7 people. And within 8 years today, we are at 100. We celebrated 100 people joining the agency. Right? So I joined 4 years ago as the sole social media person. I was just handling a very small account, and my revenue on the team was at about 1 lakh. That's about it. And yeah, that's about it. But I have been, we persevered, and today my team alone is about 25 people, and we handle about 40 clients. And my revenue is at around 3 crores, which is a huge jump for me. I think I never saw myself as an entrepreneur, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the entire theme of the WEF is also about women, putting women in the forefront, and we're talking about gender disparity and things like that. So my team also has been scaled with the help of women. I just have two men in my team. The rest of them are women. So that's something I'm very proud of, and I thought I should share it here. My team would be happy to see this happening. So yeah. So I just wanted to touch upon a few things that we do from a client perspective. I think what we went through earlier was how to grow it, as a small business or as an individual. For instance, you're doing something on your own, and how do you scale? Why do we do this? One, we're passionate about communication. We want to help our clients reach more audiences. The second thing is we help them rather make strategic decisions. It's not just about putting a post up on Facebook. It's also about how do you build your content over time. Like, where do you want to see your brand grow within a year or two? Where does content marketing fit in? Why do you need an influencer on board? So questions like these, I think, become slightly complicated when it comes to a client side of things. When you're an individual, it's easier to say, I'm not going to do all these things. I just want to focus on one A or B. But clients, they come to you and they say, I want the whole roster of things. So that is why we have teams. We have people who are invested in content, people who are looking into analytics. Now you look at Facebook and Instagram, and they're giving you a lot of data. Like, how do you read this data, right? And what do you make of all that data? Like, this month, if I've got a reach of about 40,000 with just like 3 or 4 posts, how do I get that up to like another 2 million with just the minimum investment and things like that? So it gets a little complicated when you're doing it as a client servicing person, I guess. So a few things that we do are content marketing, creative as well. We manage social platforms, and this is the whole gamut of things. I'm talking about platforms like Reddit, like Tumblr, the obscure ones, and not the usual suspects. We also do a lot of community building. That's at the core of a lot of brands that we handle. I think today brands are moving away from just adding followers onto Facebook or on Instagram or any profile for that matter. They want to have a community of people who kind of endorse them at every stage. I think that is where we step in to help them. Right? So what do we really focus on? A couple of things are brand awareness. How many people know about my brand? If they don't, how am I going to get that done? It could be in the form of videos, influencer marketing. It could be anything talking about your products in a very different way. Getting into those topical days, trending content, etc. Then there's brand building, which they also spoke about. Like who are you? Who is the brand? And what am I trying to say on social about the brand? Right? Am I, say for instance, if I'm a grocery, if I'm an e-tailer, or I'm doing grocery online, am I about just buying groceries online? Am I simplifying your life? Or am I actually a healthy, am I looking at your wholesome lifestyle, your fitness and things like that? Because we actually do this for one of our clients called Big Basket. They're one of India's largest online supermarkets. And for them, it's not really about hardcore sales. They don't want sales anymore from social. What they want is people interacting with the brand and knowing that I have the healthiest mangoes for you. I have 0 pesticides, I have 0 chemicals. So we at the back end work on the content that goes out to the consumer that talks about all this. So recently we did a shoot, we traveled across 3 states to Maharashtra, all the way from Bangalore, just to do a 10-second clip of mangoes with an investment of about 5 lakh rupees. But that's what they wanted, and it's amazing because for them they don't really care about 1,000 clicks coming into their website. At that point they just care about the awareness. They want to be known as a healthy brand, as a lifestyle brand. So those are some of the things that we do as an agency. The third thing is advocacy. Now I'm sure the parallels between all of our previous speeches was when people come up and say, I think this person is amazing. I think their content is lovely. I think what they're writing, what they're doing, the way they're sharing is beautiful. That is advocacy. Basically, you're endorsing a particular person or a brand for somebody else, right? And this happens a lot when we are having our parties, or it could be like a catch up with a friend. You discuss brands. Hey, I bought this thing from here. I love your shoes. Where did you get it from? So all of these conversations can happen on social as well. And how we do it is essentially plugging in content that leads to such conversations happening. I think today, if you're given something to promote, instead of just saying I'm launching a new variety of something, instead of just saying that, we open it up as I'm launching this new thing, what do you think about it? Or here are 2 samples, please use it and tell me honestly what do you feel about it, and come and write a review. So I think it's a lot of two-way communication. Social has to be about two-way. I think that's something you guys must also be doing a lot. You have to respond to people who are pinging to your amazing videos and stuff, right? And of course, there's the leads, web traffic, and sales. A lot of brands look at this very critically. I think some of them think social media is about more people, so more sales. It does not work that way. I think it's more about engagement. It's more about building your brand identity, and the sales happens as a result of the other things, I think, right? Yeah, it just helps, I guess. So when it comes to bigger, larger brands, they have a lot of spends. They're sitting on massive budgets, so they're not shy to just go behind a page likes campaign, or just go from 100 Instagram followers this month to say about like 10,000 in a week. But that is not authentic. It doesn't help. However, we've noticed this happen in the startup industry, where a lot of startups they just want to get a lot of people following them because they want their investors to think that they're doing really well. Right, and I've come across this. Maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but I hope nobody's here from like a startup or anything, at least not based in Bangalore. So they do this because they want to like build that profile. They just want to look good on social media. When you look at 10,000 followers, people think, oh man, they have a lot of followers. It must be amazing, right? The brand must be good. They must have something. Need not necessarily be the case, right? Also these larger brands, they don't depend on social for their sales. They could be doing ATL, which is your billboards and television and celebrity endorsements and things like that. So for them, social is very small. It's a very tiny piece of the entire marketing segment. Now when we go to individuals and say smaller brands, for you or for us, it's to grow organically. That is the main challenge. I think that's where you have to be very strategic about your decisions. You can't just throw around money on page likes or boosting your post constantly. You'll have to figure out, what do I want to boost. I did a post last week about something that was trending. It could be the elections in India right now. It could be on an international game. It could be NFL, whatever it is. Now that performed well. How do I take it to the next level? Like, what's my next content that's going to match up to the same kind of trend, right? So looking at trends definitely helps with smaller brands. I have a few other things that I'll talk about. Also critical is word of mouth for smaller brands. Like, how do you engage your users, existing users? Say for instance, if you have a product and you really wanted to get noticed by a lot more people, sampling works great as long as your product is good. If it's bad, then that's a disaster, right? So if you're very sure about your product and it's amazing, then yes, sampling is brilliant, because one of them uses it and they post a picture of it on social, and then people start asking liking or start taking notice of something like that. So I think trying to figure out a strategy around how do I get my people who are already using it to come back and post on social. That's a two-way thing. We leverage this for some of our smaller accounts where I wouldn't call it sampling, but the moment a customer picks up something, like it could even be just a sign up on a running club or a sign up for a hospital visit or a session, we immediately catch them and say, hey, we're doing a video for social on which we want to feature you as the star of the month. You're the testimonial star of the month. Obviously we don't say it as a testimonial, but we say, hey, this is special. Share what you want about the brand, and they do it, and that gets a lot of views, more views definitely than what the brand puts up as creatives and videos and things like that. So optimizing your user base is very, very important, I feel. So what ticks on social? I think creating customer moments. There's a brand in India, they're based out of Bangalore again, called Dunzo. I wish I could have shown you the screenshot. So Dunzo, are you aware? You must be.
It's actually in Delhi as well.
Delhi as well? Great, okay.
I came, I guess, 4 months back.
Ah, nice. Okay. So Dunzo, if I can continue. I started using Dunzo 3 years ago, and what they do is they do tiny tasks for you. Like say, for instance, you forgot your keys at home, or you forgot your visiting card. They would send somebody to your house. You just give them the address. They would pick it up and come drop it off to you wherever you are. Okay, they started out very small, and they're a wonderful brand, they're a wonderful case study. So I remember 3 years ago when my mom was visiting me from Bahrain, she loves jackfruit, if you guys know jackfruit, it's this massive fruit, right? So when she came down, she said, Ash, I really feel like having jackfruit. I was like, where do I go now? Like, I'm stuck working on a pitch or something like that, and I don't have time. And she's coming in the morning. I Dunzo'd it, basically. They sent somebody to the local market, which was about like 10 to 15 kilometers. They actually sent me a jackfruit with a note on it, which was very sweet. So they started doing out these really, really tiny tasks, and now they're very strong on social. I think they've expanded a lot. They have a fun Twitter. So if I could show you that conversation, I will. But the other day, my husband, he sent me something on via Dunzo. He couriered something via Dunzo, and this is like a 2 to 3 kilometer radius. And Dunzo immediately, tweets about it with a very cute pun. And the minute you tweet to them, they engage with you in a conversation, in a fun battle, and it goes on, like, as long as you want to engage them. So they are amazing, they're fun. So I think, catching your customer where they really feel nice about talking to you online is very important. Do check up, Dunzo, some of their conversations, they're pretty good. Teach, don't preach. This I think does not apply to us ladies. I think your preaching does help. It's awesome that you guys are preaching. What I mean by don't preach is for brands. Brands preaching doesn't really work. Educational content works, but not things like do this and don't do this, and I think that's incredibly boring. So multimedia, don't stick to one type of post or one style of post. Be constantly innovating, whatever you're doing. Like Instagram, somebody discovered how to do grids, and it's caught on like fire. And we did a couple of grids last year, and we won an award for it this year at India Digital Awards as well for Big Basket. So the thing is to constantly hop on to whatever is trending and making use of it in a really creative way. And keeping up with the conversation literally, this point is essentially about what we call response management in agency jargon. Say for instance, somebody tweeted to Norita, I don't know, about some video, and then Norita replies only 3 days later. That person is lost. They are not going to come back and engage. So you have to be constantly on it, like literally all the time. And we've also noticed a lot of immediate, sales or clicks to website happen when you're catching them right when they are replying. So I think investing in somebody who's constantly looking into your notifications does really pay off in the long run.
Can I just add something?
Yes.
Yesterday when I was on my flight, I got a message from Heathrow Airport, and it says, Sharon, have a safe flight. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, thank you. And I was like, and then it came back and it said, where are you off to? And I was like, this is strange. Sorry, I'm taking up her time, but I just wanted to reinforce what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I thought, how the hell did they know my Twitter?
Yeah.
And I kept on thinking and thinking and thinking. I must have opted in somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're so
and feel
right.
good, right? Yeah.
conversation with you for while I'm waiting.
Yeah. So yeah, finally plan it, don't wing it. See, some of us are still discovering, like her. Like she said, I don't know what I'm doing. Right? So you will learn along the way, but when it comes to
3 years ago.
yes, so now you're planning it. Yeah. So definitely, this is one advice as an agency person, as somebody who's handled clients. Have a strategy and stick to it. And if it doesn't work, keep experimenting. Keep changing your strategy every 3 months. And yeah, so that's about it. Thank you so much for listening.
Let's all take a group photograph.
Yes. Selfie.
No, when you take one. आप ले लोगे ना एक? हाँ, आप ले लोगे.
Yes, sir.
Cheese.
Say cheese.
Cheese. Look at me, phone.
Say OT.
Wait.
Thank you.
Just wait.
Okay, so